back to Emergency Dating Consulting, a place for immediate change or development in the world of dating. For this video, I would like to first jump into somebody who I hold in high value, who passed away recently. Kevin Samuels was famously known for his YouTube channel or his Instagram Live, and really he was a relationship and lifestyle consultant, and he got famous for combating some of these modern women today that, let's just say, don't see eye to eye with some of his opinions. However, what was special, because he was doing something that nobody was doing, at least publicly, and putting their self and their image on the line as he did. What I value the most, and I think so many people misunderstood his approach to women specifically, was he knew he was a high value man, right? And what's interesting is this man was highly put together mentally, physically, and he knew he was a catch for women, right? What I find interesting is women who know they're a catch, they don't fuck around. They don't let you play games with them. They don't let you lead them into some gypsy tricks some of us would play to get our partner. They know what they want, and they're gonna get what they want. And that's exactly what Kevin Samuels did, and that's exactly who he is. And I think we're so used to seeing men take the back seat, take the lead in many financial or dangerous situations, but takes the back seat when it comes to any type of leadership in their relationship today. And here's a grown man who didn't play that. And I admire that, because there's a lot of attributes as men that we can take the lead in many situations, especially our relationships, and stand strong and be able to direct our family, direct our partner to what's best for all of us at the end of the day. And that's what this man did. And I think the confusion came from, we're so used to watching men take the back seat, that when he came along, most women are like, you're either full of shit or you're a misogynist fuck. And that's what he was pinned with most of the time. But he has many fans, and the world lost a good one back on May 5th, 3 days prior to my birthday. This man, the people who followed him and really listened, put their emotions aside, you had your life changed and you had your life affected. And my brother actually introduced me to him, I think 3 months prior to his death, May 5th of this year. And I was impressed. And going down the rabbit hole through many of his videos, I was inspired. And there's many things that, and this man was, they said he was 53, but I think it was 57, because he was born in 1965, 57 when he passed. There's a value to making it that far in your age. Excuse me. Especially if you constantly progress, if you constantly look in the mirror and self-analyze truthfully, you're a force to be reckoned with at that time. You're a veteran, and especially you're a veteran at your craft. And this man changed lives all around the world, went to many marriages that were showing love because of the couples. They pursued the marriage through his advice and leadership. And in a world where we all know dating is shit today, that's a that was a noble quest Kevin Samuels was on. And I just wanted to take that time to thank him. And it broke my heart when I heard he was gone. I didn't expect this, but I must say he motivated the hell out of me. And Kevin, this is for you, my man. I made sure I didn't put out any content until I gave you love and I showed you love. And I thank you for the dedication, the sacrifice, and the time you put into us. Kevin was a fan of cologne and candles. So for every video, I'll have a candle burning for my man. You know, I feel like I must add, my brother and I were talking just yesterday on many people thought he was a doctor, which he wasn't. But it's something to highlight because that's how this man carried himself, with integrity, dignity, and as a high value man was proud of being just that. You don't see many men like that today. So I have a Reddit question today, and this lines up with, I think, many men out there, especially young men, but it connects to what Kevin Samuels has attacked, and I feel like I should share this with you guys. Here's a young man just looking for advice. I'm a 25-year-old male. I am extremely scared of being single forever, never meeting someone good for me, and it's really getting to me. And then he gives off details into his life that I'm going to share. Let me get this out of the way. Not having a significant other isn't a bad thing, but I do want to spend my life with a family of my own. It's something I've always wanted. I've had a couple 2-year relationships along the way, but they ended due to various and completely justifiable reasons. That's interesting, justifiable reasons. You know, I don't think I've ever met a man, or at least not many of them, and nothing that comes to mind, that didn't take full-blown responsibility for their breakups. And I would even ask them what happened. And majority of them, it wasn't their fault. They were played like a yo-yo in a violin. But as men, we're taught to take responsibility for our actions. And I think we get it confused sometimes. So I'm really curious, how justifiable is it? Anyways, you might think that as a 25-year-old, I've got all the time in the world, but here's some context. You know that period in your life when you meet a lot of new people, meet some friends, date, etc. And then you're sort of done with that by 24 or 25. I skipped that part. I did too. I was just actually debating in my head of how normal that is. And I think it's pretty normal. I skipped that too, however, so I'm with you on that. I'm in IT, and I've always been an ambitious person, so I actually started my career on a verge of 19 and 20, which makes me a 25-year-old with a half a decade of work experience. I also relate to that. I started out in the working career, or in the working force, pretty damn young, and by the age of 25 I definitely had a resume. So I'm with you on that. Along those 5 years, most of my friendships I made are with people older than me, and most often it's 30s plus, already with a wife, husband, and a couple of kids. Same here. At age 18, those are my friends. I like this guy. There's nothing wrong with the age itself, but I can't meet anyone through them. That's true, but you don't have to date them. Seriously, you can be friends. And I'll save that for another episode with friends and benefits. It's not what you think anymore. That's probably one of the things which scares me the most. Those friends simply can't always go out or stay late, which is true. They can't introduce me to some friend of theirs that, since their friend, he screwed this up, that since that friend is still much older. I do have a couple of friends my age though, and I was really thinking into asking them to introduce me to someone, but I don't know, should I even date? I'm going to reread that and break that down. I do have a couple of friends my age though, and I was really thinking into asking them to introduce me to someone, but I don't know, should I even date? I can tell you, I've heard many grown men and young men say something similar to this. This one lets me know you have a couple friends who have girlfriends that you know you will fuck with their friends. But two, you immediately back off and say, I don't know if I should even date. You should date. You wrote a Reddit question of your life dating details and looking for advice. You should date. You're ready to date. Let me tell you what you did. You completely backed off of that thought because you think you'll be embarrassed asking your friends to introduce you to somebody or to go out with them, or it might expose that you're lonely as fuck every single night. Are those really your friends? Because if those are your friends, then one, they should already know that, but two, you should not have a fear of bringing these things to your friends. I get it. They're personal. They might be embarrassing, but they're you. And if they're your friends, that means they love you. At least my friends do. And you need to get friends who love you. And no matter what you bring to the table, I don't care if it was a scarred dick, they should be supportive of that. And they also should be willing to help and no problems asked. Don't back off of that. So if any of y'all have friends that could be introduced to you, or you could go out with them, do it. Do it. Back to his life details. And not that it matters, but I'm not a bad guy. I do think that I'm good looking. I'm outgoing and social, like hiking, have an extremely stable and well-paying job. If words and attributes are what it takes, at least on paper, I look good, but I haven't met or went on a date with anyone in almost a year now, and it's killing me. Let me jump in right there. I think this is also so many men in this country, or hell, in the world. He thinks he's good looking. That lets me know he's probably a little more handsome than he thinks. Outgoing and social. Hiking, whatever. You got a hobby though. And extremely stable. He's right, on paper, he's popping. Right? He's a catch. And I think many of you men out there are just like him and are a catch. And I'm really happy I'm reading this now because that's what I want to highlight. What's going on then? Right? If you're a catch, you're social, what's the issue? The issue is the disconnect between sexes. Truth be told, you don't know what the hell a woman is. You feel like a woman is everything that you learned off of TV and that what they show you and when you see them in person. And it's not. It's not. What's really going on is you weren't taught about your opposite sex. You weren't taught on how to approach them, how to talk to them, what to say, how to say it, what to do afterwards, what to do on a date. You have not been told about any of this. And for you men out there that are handsome, stable, intelligent, especially social, subscribe. All right? Eventually, you will be taught everything you need to know on what to do with the woman and how to go about her. But for the main thing you need to take out of this, just know you don't know what the hell you're doing out there, which is okay. That's why I'm here. But two, know she is a flawed human being. You need to understand she's you. She's just as scared, just as horny, just as wanting, and just as ready. You just need to know what you're doing. Don't worry about, keep your job, stay on your health, stay on your looks. You need to know and get educated on what a woman is and what to do. And I got you on that. And he hasn't been, and with all those attributes, he hasn't met or went on a date with anyone in almost a year now. And he says it's killing me. Like, think about that. You have all that and you haven't met, and you're on social media sites or apps, dating apps, right? And you're not meeting anyone on that either, which is 10 times harder, believe it or not. That's for another episode as well. I would recommend getting off of that right here and right now. If you think about it, well-paying job, handsome, outgoing, social, this is everything that does not complement online dating. You should be outside. Always you should be outside. That's why you see the women outside. Moving on. Especially with the lockdown, after he said it's been killing him of not dating. Especially with the lockdown where I was alone in the apartment for months. In my country, second world country in Europe, okay. Lockdown was lifted a month or so ago. I'm not even sure when this is dated. And since then, I'm trying to find every single possible excuse to leave the house, go out with somebody, take a walk. Heck, I started just driving to a nearby town and back to lose some time. And then I entered the house all by myself and I instantly feel, I don't know how to explain it, sadness, claustrophobic. It's the feeling in your chest imploding in itself. You know what? And he adds a little details after he's done. That was the end of it. But he adds details of, I'm scared. I'm scared of dying alone. Most of my friends are 30 plus. So the social circles and activities with them almost never include someone my age. I think I am an okay guy, but I just can't meet anyone and I'm really starting to feel it. I can't stop thinking about it for weeks. If you have a tip or advice, let me know. If you notice, this man added extra details at the end of everything he already stated above. This man is ready. This man's in pain. Many men out there are in pain. And this is why it's important for now to find men like us. Men who has changed their lives so we can say advice and could give advice that you can actually use. Okay? It's so bad for men out there. This is for you ladies. Can you imagine? This man's 25 years old. This is a young, handsome, career paid, made young man, intelligent. And he thinks he's doomed. Doomed. Can you imagine? Right? Do you know what it takes to establish a career? Right? To maintain your integrity, to maintain your looks, right? Even though he's young, nonetheless. And then knowing you're fucked for your future as your youth is fading. No, 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 no. You need to understand how dire it is out here. And you need to start having empathy for every single person, for the most part, who hasn't turned into a Karen or a fucking shooter. And you need to empathize. Oh my God. You need to have, you need to have empathy for those people out there. And that's really important to understand. Really, you need to know how bad it is out there. So, I'm going to jump into where he ended after lockdown. And that's why I want to highlight too. Lockdown really fucked up most of us. I was one of them for sure. You got me stop moving, and yeah, it was rough. So, but I get it. We're all wearing masks. Everyone's worried about distancing at the time. However, I was still getting numbers at that time. Just a heads up, right? Women were taking off their masks so they could confirm, like, who I was talking to. And y'all don't need to do that, by the way. We already know. We put it all together. We already know. What I'm saying, if there's a pandemic out and I'm getting phone numbers, right? That's not issue. If a pandemic isn't stopping women from talking to me or talking to you, nothing should be. Nothing should be. I can't stress that enough. But I get it. And you need to get back warmed up, get back in the public warmed up. But you need to understand, this is what Kevin Samuel's trying to get to you. This is what I've been trying to get to you. They're human beings who you're trying to talk to. They went through the same lockdown, the same anxieties, the same worries, the same weight gains, right? So you hesitating or being scared, making up excuses to go talk to them should be out the window. It's okay. And they're waiting for you. But he says he looks for any possible excuse to leave the house. That's amazing. I do that till this day. I love it. Love driving around, blasting music, going into random places, and you talk to people. But so here's for people who are at that breaking point where you just fucking leave for no reason now. As you go out and explore and bump into people, just do me a favor, start saying hi. You don't have to talk to them, just start saying hi. And occasionally add in, how are you doing? Right? What you want to do is start getting back to, especially if you never have, the ability to have natural conversations, just genuine, spontaneous words coming out of each other back and forth. Start getting accustomed to that. And you'll start to find yourself in natural, genuine, spontaneous conversations with women, right? Ladies, you too with men. You'll find yourselves in these situations, and there's only one step after that. You get that phone number. That's for another episode. However, get out of the house. Talk to people. Everyone's waiting. We're sick of being in the fucking house now, right? But as he says, when he gets back to the house, fuck COVID. COVID didn't do this. Most people feel like this going back to the house after they leave and meeting no one and feeling sadness and claustrophobic. Be prepared. Get your mental health together. Get your physical health together. Get educated. Stay tuned in. Get educated on your opposite sex. And by the way, statistically, there's been studies that shown same-sex parents raise more educated children, right? More social, less crime. And there could be other attributes to this, but for the most part, that's not a far-fetched conclusion, in my opinion, right? I don't have to educate lesbians. Like, they know who they're dating. That's them, right? Same with gay men. They're dating themselves, right? So these small little intricacies that we bump heads about as couples, They don't. Right? And this is specifically because they know what the other person is going through or the actions that they're doing. We know as a man watching another man, if we watch another man talk to a woman to get her phone number, we can break down how he's feeling, what body language he's putting out, because we know we're the same thing. Get educated.